Alright, folks, let's dive into the Philadelphia Eagles' 53-man roster prediction, taking into account the recent training camp updates. Now, I'm not going to sugarcoat it. The Eagles' roster is looking pretty solid, but there are some interesting twists and turns that make this a fascinating topic to explore. So, buckle up and let's get started. First things first, the offense. At quarterback, we have the dynamic Jalen Hurts, who's been on fire during training camp. But here's the catch, the battle for the backup spot is intense. Andy Dalton has been impressing, but Tanner McKee, who previously outshone him in spring practices, might be on the chopping block. Personally, I think the Eagles could trade McKee to a team desperate for quarterback depth. Dalton's arm strength is a concern, but he's comfortable in the offense. And let's not forget Cole Payton, who's thrown a few interceptions, but has shown promise. Moving on to the running backs, Saquon Barkley is looking sharp, but Tank Bigsby needs to step up his game. Will Shipley is a wild card, he might be in danger, but the coaching staff values him more than fans do. Dameon Pierce has been a revelation, flashing as a runner, pass catcher, and kick returner. He could push for the RB3 role, but an injury is a concern. Elijah Mitchell and Carson Steele are in an uphill battle, but the Eagles kept 4 running backs last year, so anything can happen. Now, the wide receivers. DeVonta Smith is a lock, but his absence has opened doors for Dontavian Wicks, who's making the most of it. Darius Cooper is a solid player, but will he get playing time? Mekhi Lemon, a 2026 first-round pick, has had a disappointing offseason, and Hollywood Brown is underperforming. Johnny Wilson, on the other hand, has been a bright spot. The Eagles might consider trading Brown for a small return. At tight end, Dallas Goedert is a solid player, but Johnny Munt is the clear TE2. Cam Latu is a special team stud and a solid blocker, while Eli Stowers needs to step up his game. E.J. Jenkins is on the bubble, and Daquan Wright could surprise in the preseason games. The offensive line is a bit fluid. Jordan Mailata and Landon Dickerson are starters, but there's some load management going on. Lane Johnson is probably retiring after 2026, and Markel Bell is taking first-team right tackle reps. Fred Johnson is a veteran, but hasn't had a great summer. Drew Kendall is contending for the top interior backup spot, and Willie Lampkin is making a case for the roster. Now, on to the defense. At edge defender, Jonathan Greenard is expected to return from the PUP list, but Jalen Hunt is having a strong camp. Nolan Smith is a bit overweight, but he's back to his proper weight. Arnold Ebiketie and A.J. Epineza are rotational edge rushers, and Brandon Graham might not be back. Keyshawn James Newby is out with an injury, and Joshua Weru is an intriguing movement skill, but not ready for prime time. Jalen Carter and Jordan Davis are defensive tackles looking to dominate. Moro Ojomo is on the Milton Williams trajectory, and Byron Young is a solid player. Gabe Hall is a better option than Ty Robinson, but the Eagles might trade Robinson for depth. UAR Bernard is a wild card, and might be kept on the roster to prevent poaching. At off-ball linebacker, Zach Bond is a stud, Jihad Campbell is having good moments, and Jeremiah Trotter Jr. is a capable starter. Chance Campbell and Smail Mondon Jr. provide depth, and Deontay Lawson could make the practice squad. The Eagles could have the best starting cornerback trio in the NFL, but the depth is a question mark. Quinyon Mitchell, Cooper DeJean, Rick Woolen, Jonathan Jones, and Khalil Ringo make up the starting trio, but the depth is a concern. Jones has inside/out experience, and Mac McWilliams is young and cheap. Jacorian Bennett is unlikely to make the team. At safety, Andrew Makuba, Marcus Epps, and Michael Carter II are solid players. Maximus Pulley has made plays, and the Eagles might keep at least one undrafted rookie free agent. Andre Sam is a quad-A player, and Cole Wisniewski has missed time due to injury. The Eagles might stash Keyshawn James Newby and Cole Wisniewski on the IR. Finally, the special teams. Jake Elliott is 19-20 on kicks, but needs to prove it in the regular season. Braden Mann is solid as a punter, and the Eagles might look for a long snapper after roster cuts. Rocco Underwood has had struggles, so they might look for another long snapper. In conclusion, the Eagles roster is looking pretty solid, but there are some interesting twists and turns. The battle for backup spots is intense, and the depth at certain positions is a concern. But with the starting lineup looking strong, the Eagles could be a force to be reckoned with this season. So, what do you think? Who are the dark horses on the roster? Let's discuss in the comments.